So this video is going to be very unconventional. We're going to be venturing far outside the box of how traditional people think, and I'm going to be getting very personal with you and sharing something that I haven't shared before, which is something that I am always trying to monitor within myself, which is how strong is my spiritual appetite. Okay, this is something that we all have. How strong is your spiritual appetite? Because guess what? Just like with food, right? You have your appetite, you're hungry, and you can spoil your appetite by, say, eating in between meals, snacking. More often than not, it's junk food, it's very unhealthy food, and hey, there goes your appetite. The same thing here can happen in the spiritual realm, okay? You can spoil your spiritual appetite, for example, by indulging in things that pull you away from spirit, presence, and abundance. Now, before we dive right into how this happens and what you can do to rekindle that spiritual appetite, that hunger for spirit, be sure to click the like button. You have no idea how much this helps the channel. You have the influence alone just by clicking like to share this message with more people, to make sure that more people see it and benefit from it. Be sure to also leave a comment below with your biggest takeaway, what spoke to you the most in this video, and of course, subscribe. So let me start by asking you a question here. And this is a question that's really going to bring your awareness to just how strong your spiritual appetite actually is. Are you worshiping the creator or the creation? Let it land. Are you worshiping the creator or the creation? Are you worshiping the giver or the gift? Are you worshiping, say, the physical, or you could say the place from which the physical came, whether that's God, whether that's abundance, whether that's the universe. If you're into Stoicism, that could be nature, right? The name really doesn't matter, but what are you worshiping more? And guess what? The creation, which unfortunately, due to the way that we've all been conditioned, is what we tend to worship more. That's the snack. That's the snack in between meals. And the true meal, the thing you're truly after, if you feel that void within you, a little bit of a lack of fulfillment, it's because you've lost touch with the creator. Okay, that there is a great first test to see just how strong your spiritual appetite actually is. Because guess what? When you stop worshiping the creator, when you cut yourself off from that, when you spoil your spiritual appetite, you will stop feeling fulfilled. You will stop feeling grounded. You will start doubling down in the physical, trying to find, you could say, the infinite in the finite, right? Trying to accumulate all these physical things like, fill me up. Why am I not full? Well, guess what? You're filling yourself up on the wrong things. You're living off of unhealthy snacks, not healthy meals. Okay, so once more, which one are you worshiping? The creator or the creation? Worshiping the creation is really the land of the ego, right? You could say the weaker your spiritual appetite, the stronger the ego, and the more you're going to worship the physical, right? By cutting off the creator, by cutting off source, you now try to find yourself out here, right? And every single person worships something. You might hear this and say, oh, what do you mean, worship the creation? I don't worship anything. Well, here's one that the majority of people in this world worship: money, right? The god of money. People worship it. They make a whole religion out of it, right? It's all about money. I need to make more money. You even see people like, any little penny counts, right? And you can sense here just how much you worship, for example, the god of money, by how your sense of self fluctuates depending on how much money you have. Right? For example, you might go through a financial rough patch and you just sense your sense of self just drop, right? You feel like you're less of a person. You feel empty. You're like, oh, this is horrible. Money would just fill that void. Money would just give me that fulfillment I'm after. Money would enhance me. If that's you, you are worshiping the god of money. You're run by that, right? The creation of money. The same as if you suddenly make money and feel extremely enhanced. Right? Ooh, money. Yes, I'm a better person now. Another one is the god of looks, right? If I look a certain way, you might wake up one morning and guess what? You look pretty good. It's one of those mornings where, hey, I guess I woke up on the right side of bed. Awesome. And you feel enhanced. You could wake up another morning, I slept terrible, I look inflamed, I'm all puffy, I don't like how I look, my hair is a bit off today. Sense of self drops, right? Or even on a more macro level, I let myself get out of shape, I don't like who I am here, I don't know, the looks, the God of looks, please bless me with some good looks, right? You might also worship other people. We idolize people, whether that's a celebrity, a public figure, someone you look up to. It could be a partner or potential partner, right? Oh, when I'm finally with that person, when I finally get the partner that I want, things will be amazing and I will feel fulfilled, right? Please, partner, please, worshiping a partner. We can really make a religion out of anything, right? You can worship anything. You could even, by the way, getting a little bit nuanced here, worship, you could say, different spiritual practices, right? Oh, I'm going to all these spiritual retreats and I'm drinking the green juice, I'm drinking the kombucha. Oh, and I went to that spiritual person's retreat, I went to that one, I went to that one. The more spiritual retreats, the better. But guess what? That's still a creation, okay? And we tend to have many religions. And guess what? All these religions, the one thing they have in common is they tend to be, once more, due to the way that we're conditioned, all geared towards the creation, not the creator, okay? And this is something that really, I resonate with. I've gone through a large period of my life just really doubling down on the creation, right? If you're familiar with my past, I was extremely run by validation. That was, approval. That was my God, the God of approval. Please approve of me. The more people approve of me, the more enhanced I am. And this ran me, right? That was pulling my strings. I was a slave to it. And I would do anything for approval, anything for validation, right? When it came to working on my social skills, that was really the only thing that, was driving me at first. It was like, hey, if I just get people to like me, I can feel enhanced. If I get people to like me and then I see my friends seeing me being liked, then that's double approval, right? So I went after that. I then went after, different relationships. I went after sex. I went after money. And I reached this point where I kept doubling down and doubling down and doubling down. And despite a lot of self-sabotage that I was able to fight against, I actually accomplished a lot of that and still felt empty within. It's that famous saying, 2 things won't make you happy. Number 1 is not getting what you want. Number 2 is getting what you want, right? And once more, it goes back to looking in the wrong places, trying to find the infinite in the finite, right? You can't count to infinity, for example. And that's what I was trying to do. And some things you'll notice here, if you're really trapped in this, worshiping of the creation, is you will sense an extreme lack of fulfillment within, right? And if you reflect back on your life, there's probably a lot of times where you worshiped something, right? A false god. You're like, please, creation, I'll be happy when, and you were duped. It didn't work, right? All these times where once I get that, once I do this, right? We can also worship different actions. Once I accomplish this, once someone gives me this, once I purchase this, then I'll be fulfilled. And you realize nothing truly worked, right? If that's you, no matter how much you get, no matter how much creation you accumulate, nothing really changes within. You're trapped in that land, okay? You can also sense that when you are in the land of the creation, you feel a little bit off center, off balance, right? Like a little bit, kind of desperate, like you're trying to do whatever you can to just find that balance, right? Every action will tend to be, again, out of desperation, out of craving, out of need. You find yourself being very reactive, right? The world is very heavy. Things need to go a certain way. And if they don't, you feel very intense sensations in reaction to that, right? All of those are tells of someone who's in the land of the creation, okay? And you'll also tell here that if you're in that land, it's all about getting, right? It's like you're this void and you're just trying to take and get, and there's neediness and once more desperation, and you just keep doubling down. That's what happens, right? That's what happens if you don't have that spiritual appetite. And another example from my life that, really, I remind myself of this person and, this situation all the time. And it was, I would say, probably the most extreme example I've seen of someone who just kept doubling down is someone who I worked with many years ago. Okay, I worked with him in, internet marketing. We would do different ads, and he really helped me out, right? He helped me kind of start breaking free, being able to travel, and then say later on transition to what I do here. But there was a period of time where I was doing these ads with him, and he got to be pretty successful, right? He was making around $10,000 a day for a while, and just crushing it. Someone who very smart, right? Very, again, successful, like knew what he was doing, but was someone who was really all about the creation, right? So any bit of money that he would make would immediately go to, say, food, right? Like, ooh, food, yes. Or then drinks, and he started drinking a lot. And there was this slow spiral that happened, right? Where suddenly it's like, okay, I started drinking, and then it was all about sex, and then that started spiraling down, and that's, when I started traveling and I didn't see him as much, kind of lost touch. And then I heard later on from people who we knew in common that he started doing all these drugs, and he started dating someone who also did a lot of drugs. It was a very toxic, unhealthy relationship, and it escalated to the point where they were doing heroin, right? Doing heroin together, and it just got worse and worse. And it was to the point where what I was hearing, I'm like, that's not the person I know. Like, wait, what, are you sure it's the same person? And there was an instance where, he was threatening people in his place with a knife. His parents had to fly out and try to intervene. And I remember from what I heard, he tried to like fight his father and then try to make out with his mother, like off the rails. And then I saw him like crossed paths like a year or so after that. And it was in the street, and he didn't even recognize me. He was just walking by and just kind of half bumped into me, kept walking. And it was literally like, wow, like here's someone you would assume would be, say, either slightly crazy or homeless on the street, right? Now, I've heard he's slowly gotten out of that, which is good, but just seeing how he went from being at the top to just total 180, that's really what happens, like the more you double down on, you could say, the creation, right? It can be subtle at first, and it doesn't mean, never snack. Of course, enjoy life, enjoy all this. Like this is here for our enjoyment, for our experience. But if it's all only about that, it will start taking you down a very, very dark path. When it comes to worshiping the Creator, let me ask you this. What are you? Right? And don't give me the go-to answer like, well, I'm Julien, right? Like give me your name and everything like that. Just what are you, right? Say we take away all of the social conditioning, right? All of that is gone, right? Why do you care, for example, about money, worshiping the God of money? Social conditioning, right? Trying to move up the social hierarchy. Let's take all that away. Let's take away your ego, right? Who you think you are. I am Julien. This is what I look like. This is what I have. This is what I do. Take all that away as well. And let's even just take away this physical body, right? All your biological drives, take all that away, and what's left? Reflect on that. Let it land. Hang out in that space. What comes before everything? What are you really? Not who you think you are, but who you really are. And just by sinking into this perspective here, you can get a touch of, you could say, that seed of Creator, right? Get in touch with Source. Get in touch with that true present energy within. And this is also why letting go is so powerful, right? What are you doing by letting go? You're severing, you could say, the links, the chains, these invisible cords between you and the physical, and getting back in touch with Source, your true self, right? And of course, when you do that, you feel fulfilled. You feel grounded because you're coming at life from this place of abundance, not this place of being incomplete, this void. You're no longer lacking. And then guess what? You can still partake, but the intention is always to give. You're acting out of inspiration as opposed to acting out of desperation. Okay, you can also, to get in touch with this, reflect on your own mortality. Reflect on the fact that no matter what you do here, no matter what you get, right, no matter how much you accumulate, which is something that we all do, right, that's another, you could say, symptom of worshiping the creation, right? I need more, more, more. And it's not just physical things, right? People also try to accumulate different ideas, thoughts, knowledge. We're always just trying to accumulate. You can't take any of that with you after you die, right? No matter what you do here, you're going to die, and that's it. You can't take any of this with you. And just reflecting on that, right? My own mortality, I'm going to die one day, really puts you in touch once more with that present energy within, right? You can also reflect on or meditate on, and this is something Eckhart Tolle talks about, the sound between the noise, right? What about that silence? What's in between noise? Just reflecting on that. Eckhart Tolle actually has another amazing way of explaining this, where he starts off in one of his books where he says that we really are, humans. We're acting as if we have no money and, we're sitting on this chest of gold and we're just looking around left and right, begging for it, needing it, but we never stop to actually see what's inside the chest. Same here. That seed, the creator, source, spirit, whatever you want to call it, it's there within you. What you're after in the creation is actually within. It's by letting go of that external worship, right? It's letting go of snacking that your spiritual appetite grows, that spiritual connection grows, and that inner fulfillment grows as well. Okay? And you can also just find this by just looking around you, just at life itself, right? Like take a pause. We rarely do this too. We're always jumping from task to task, escaping. We get home, immediately we pull out our phones, we're on their computers, the TV, the music. There's an endless, you could say, we're in this endless state of doing this. But if you actually just pause and just take it in, right? Or if you go out and say nature and you just take it in and look at all the details, right? Like get up close, like even just look at your hand, pick up a rock and just look at all the little details of this thing called life. It's just insane. And it gets you out of the little me, find myself in the physical, worship the creation. And you get in touch with something larger, something bigger, right? That there is the direction you must move in to start once more cultivating that spiritual appetite and, of course, inner fulfillment that we're all after. It's actually been within us this entire time. We just never stopped to check. Now, in terms of some practical things that you can do to increase once more your spiritual appetite on top of, as we previously discussed here, changing your focus away from the external to the internal, away from the creation to the creator. Okay, it all starts there. That's the foundation, right? Instead of examining the world or examining you, your ego, examine what comes before all of that. But on top of this foundation, there are three things that you can do. Number one, eliminate the snacking, right? Or at least drastically decrease how much you snack. Okay, now, what do I mean by this? I mean, stop indulging in things that pull you away from spirit, from presence, from abundance. Okay, for example, if you've fallen into that pattern, just like the friend I talked about previously, where you're drinking and you're numbing yourself and you're just overeating and you might even escalate to doing drugs and just always distracting yourself, unfortunately, and this is something I realized after working with tens of thousands of clients, literally face to face, a lot of people, the behind the scenes of their lives is they go to work and when they come home, they eat, right? There's food, there's the food pleasure, there's distraction, right? Like TV, YouTube, surfing the web, and then there's pornography. And that really is most people's free time behind the scenes, right? If that's you, although, hey, in moderation, and depending on the place it's coming from, do you. Get it? Do you. But for the most part, if it's something that's just pulling you away from your essence, put your foot down and stop indulging in those things. The same with people, right? You might be surrounded with people who just pull you away from presence. Now, hearing this once more, it's easy to come up with the argument like, well, what do you mean pulling away from presence? It's like, this is something you'll feel within you. There are some activities and things you can do and people where when you spend time with them, you just feel energized. You just feel, as cheesy as it sounds, pure in a way. They give, they feed the soul, if that makes sense. But then there are other activities where it just takes, right? It'll bait you at first with, ooh, here's a little bit of pleasure, right? Do the drink, just a one drink, and you do it, but then after the fact, you just feel a bit more depleted. The same as some people, right? Hey, just hang out, it'll be fine, you can get back to your purpose after. Come on, let's play some video games. Okay. And after that, you just feel like something was taken from you. Okay? Does it give? Does it take? Is it something that is pure? Yes or no? Okay? And do an audit in your life. Day to day, right? What activities? What things? What people? What thoughts even are pulling you away from this? Cut those off. Okay? That's step number one. Eliminate the snacking and you will notice your appetite for spirit will increase. Number two, make time for it. Easier said than done, right? Make time to sit down, for example, and just reconnect to that, to worship the Creator, right? Reflecting on your own mortality, for example, meditating. As I discussed, like taking, here, a little piece of whatever this is, right? A little grass leaf and just like looking at the details and literally spend 10 minutes just looking at this and taking in the magnitude of this thing called life, right? Sitting down and just being like, wow, I'm alive. What does it even feel like to be alive? Reconnecting within. Make time for that. It's easy to come up with excuses. Again, we are so busy. And you might be thinking like, even just 20 minutes? I don't have 20 minutes for that. Do you know how much I have to do? And there's that famous saying, remind yourself of this, in the meditation spiritual world that goes, if you can't find 20 minutes to meditate, you need to be meditating for 2 hours. Okay, and it also comes down to prioritizing. What's the most important thing here? It should be your own well-being. That comes first, right? Fill your own cup, and then from that place of abundance, feeling great, feeling whole, partake in this world. That's the number one priority. Otherwise, what are you doing? So sure, maybe some external things, you'll have to pause them temporarily. Maybe some external things, they'll take a temporary hit. Maybe some of those external things, they're meant to take a hit. They're actually things that take more than they give. But by prioritizing your own well-being, game changer in terms of that spiritual appetite. Even when it comes to, say, meditation, right? Sometimes I get this question with clients where it's like, I get, say, very triggered in a social situation. I don't have time to meditate. I'm like, well, it depends how much you value your own well-being. What about being like, hey, you're triggered, say, in a conversation, just like, hey, give me a second. I'm going to go meditate, right? Oh, you're walking down the street. Oh, why not just sit down, right? Find a bench or even sit on the sidewalk. Meditate there. Oh, what do people think of me? Doesn't matter. Your own well-being comes first. Put that first. And then the third way is learning how to let go. Okay? Eliminate the snacking, make time for it, learn how to let go. Because this isn't something that you can just consciously do, right? Yes, reflecting on that will increase massively, but a lot of the, you could say, things that run you, the patterns that run you, that keep you addicted to worshiping the creation are buried deep down inside your subconscious mind. And you need to learn how to access that, which is easier said than done, right? There's what you know, there's what you know you don't know, and there's what you don't know you don't know. So there are different processes and exercises that you can do to access that. And then, of course, you must learn how to let go of it. Okay, that is step number 3, learn how to let go. Now, to be clear here, I'm not perfect. I'm still working on this myself, but these are really the kind of deep introspective questions that I spend time reflecting on. Right? Are you worshiping the creation or the creator? What does it mean to worship the creator? Who are you? What comes before everything? These types of perspectives, life-changing, okay? Especially in a world where the physical just pulls you away from that and people completely lose touch with it, okay? So this is really what I wanted to share with you here. And one last perspective that is also incredibly illuminating is asking yourself, in terms of the purpose of life, what is it on a spirit level, on a creator level, right? Because you can look at the purpose of life on the creation level and you're like, well, the purpose of life is, if you look at me, here I am at this age, here I'm on that age, and look at the skills that I've accumulated, look at all the things I've done and accomplished, the good I've done, so on and so forth, and that's all great. But what about a spirit level, right? What does that mean? Like, the purpose of life on this spirit level. You come into this world, you're in this body, right? Like, here's your ride. You go through all these experiences, you go through life, and then at the end you return it all, and then what? And I personally like to think of it as, well, did your spirit blossom, right? What happened to your spirit during this journey? And if you ignore it and you completely lose touch with it, well, guess what? The end of life is there and nothing really changed on a spirit level. But if you reconnect with this, it gives you the opportunity for your spirit to grow and to blossom. And for your spirit to grow and blossom, by the way, it doesn't mean that on a creation level, everything must be peachy and amazing and you must have all this material success. You could even argue that someone who might be going downhill on a spirit level, that might be what they need for their spirit to blossom. But those are the questions I like asking myself. And this here, just by doing this, and once more, really bring it back to letting go, is really what keeps that spiritual appetite alive. And if you're someone right now in life, you just don't feel that fulfilled, you feel like you're just going through the motions, you've gone things you thought would make you happy and it didn't work, you're just kind of lost, you're like, well, what's the point of all this? Just feel kind of numb, just like, okay, well, just better than nothing, then those are all signs that you need to increase this spiritual appetite. So apply what I talked about here, spend some time reflecting on this, make it a daily practice. The more you work on it, the more you strengthen that connection to spirit, and just watch how things change. And of course, if you'd like personal help with this, be sure to click the link below this video, apply to join my private mentoring group where I take you by the hand and share with you all of the different processes on a practical level that I apply myself and personally guide you through this. So click the link below if this speaks to you, comment below your biggest takeaway, and as always, until next time.
Like, this program is such a game changer. The way everything's structured and the material, it's been already, even for me, it's just been, I'm noticing a crazy change in the way that my whole life's like playing out.
What you put together is just incredible. There's nothing like that.
I've just jumped like a million levels. It's just been a complete 180 for my experience of existing. That's awesome.
It's just been so huge in terms of so many of the things I'm finally understanding and realizing, and epiphanies I'm having.
What you do is a huge inspiration to me, and I think it's one of the most beautiful things you can give to another human in this entire world.
You saved my fucking life, man. I'm telling you, this is real, man.
Sometimes all it takes is just one person who believes in you. Find people who are where you are in life and model them, work with them. I would not be here if I didn't have people who held me accountable.
Wow.
I just felt a click and things are changing.
This program was just top notch.
Seriously, like, this is a masterpiece. This is perfect.
Everything, the way it's set up, the live calls, like all the support from the coaches is incredible.
It's been nuts.
I just had my tears of joy.
This was the best decisions I ever made.
Thank you for creating something wonderful like this.
This program was phenomenal.
This program was amazing.
This program has definitely changed my life.
I know for a fact I'm in the right place.
This is exactly what I was expecting from the program.
It's been spectacular.
I feel really lucky to have found you.
Thank you so much, Julien. It's worth every dollar.